Coach Robert O'Connell with the Wall Street Journal. You guys are following kind of a tried and true UConn method here, where you had a little bit of a down stretch for 5 or 6 games in the regular season, but peaking at the right time, obviously playing incredibly during the tournament. I'm curious, that's something we've seen with a couple other coaches and their clubs at UConn as well. Is there any kind of institutional knowledge or something you inherited about the program when you took over the job here? Anything you've tried to carry over from previous coaches and keep alive as part of the UConn process?
I just think, for me, I just think any coach that says, like, I know how to get my team to peak during the NCAA tournament I would think that that's not possible. Otherwise people would, they would do it every year, right? I mean, they would play great. I just think what happens is, during the course of the year, for us, when your team plays to its identity, when you just, when you play to who you are, for us, it's like, we have to be the hardest playing team on the court. We've got to win the backboard. We've got to play elite defense, top 20, top 25 level defense. And then obviously we've got to be able to come at our opponent in a variety of ways, and we got to share the ball. We got away from that formula in January. Our defense was really pathetic for like a 6 or 7 game stretch. And that coincided with, us losing, me fighting with the official, like all that was going on. I just think we got away from our identity. And I know, that we've played at a great level at times, but if we get away from our identity, we're not some like super team, like we got to be on.
Adam Lichtenstein.
Hi, Coach. Congrats on making it to the Final Four. I just wanted to ask about Miami's guard, Poplar, and just what you've seen from him on film and what he does that makes him so effective, especially on defense. Yeah,
the length, athleticism. He also has feel. He's a much improved shooter. He's really good with a live dribble. He's athletic. He's tenacious. He's going to play in the NBA. Obviously, like a lot of players, this guy's got to keep getting better. But he's an NBA level. He's a draft pick talent. He's from Philly. Philly. He plays hard. He defends. He's tough.
Aaron Beard.
Hey, Dan, I'm curious, this has obviously been, a lot has been written about the transfer portal and changing landscape of college basketball. It's a very unusual quartet in terms of the names of the teams and the seeds. Did it feel like a season where this kind of thing could be possible, maybe more wide open, more volatile tournament, more open doors, and more opportunity to make a run like this?
Yeah, I think you saw it early in non-conference where it seemed like, obviously, I think us and Purdue, I don't think either one of us were ranked in the preseason. I don't know if they were, but I know we weren't. And then we were, people were arguing about who was 1 and who was 2. So like a lot of the top teams were, they struggled in non-conference. And I think obviously between the transfer portal, the extra COVID year and the NIL, that created a lot of opportunities, I think, for parity, where brand and isn't quite as important when there's so much inventory in terms of players and they can move freely and they're old and good.
To follow up with one thing, you just mentioned defense as being important. People talk about defense wins championships, but in the last 20 years, generally teams that have won the title have been top end offensive teams. You guys have been good at both ends. Is one more important than the other? Is it more important to lock somebody up or be able to score against a team that can defend really well?
Yeah, obviously, those 3 areas, right? Being able to win the backboard, defense, offense. I think, in my own, kind of evolution and or development as a coach, I was always like defense, defensive minded coach, but I do think just after last year's experience in the tournament, we have a hard playing team that faced a New Mexico State team, that had a little bit more firepower from us, I think, from the perimeter, with Teddy Allen and the kid at Texas. So I would probably say for me, the offensive end, it's critical that you could go on runs and you can make threes and and obviously finish at the rim and get to the free throw line.
Thank you.
Justin Deegan.
Hi, Coach. Justin Deegan, Orange Blossom Sports. Congrats on the run again.
Thank you,
I just
man.
have a question about the Big East Conference as a whole. You're always talking about how tough of a conference it is. This year especially, every team almost was so deep and played so hard. Do you feel like playing that level of competition in the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, just look at the top, the top five in the league. I just thought, like Creighton, Marquette, Xavier. I mean, Xavier doesn't lose. Fremantle, they may be in the Final Four right now. Obviously, Marquette had one of the best seasons of any school in the country. And then obviously Creighton, they were right there, and could be here easily themselves. And then Providence was playing great, for a majority of the year. They look like a team that can make a big run. And then like Shaheen did a great job with Seton Hall. They weren't easy to beat. Obviously, St. John's, had a lot of players, a lot of talent. We lost at home to them. So this league is, and the games are physical, man. It's like I think the Big East, the top 4 or 5 was as good as any conference in the country, and I think it was the best in terms of, I think that showed in the NCAA tournament.
AP, Steven. You're muted, AP. You're still muted.
How's that?
Better.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, Coach. Congratulations to you.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. Coach, after reviewing the Miami tapes, what do they do very well that you must address and stop?
Yeah, they put you, first of all, they run really, really good stuff, to create the driving opportunities, for their perimeter people, right? For Miller and Wong and Poplar, and now you find yourself, on your heels, right? And then you have Pack, who is one of the best shooters in the country, who's running around on the perimeter, listen, the Adama Sanogo's got, and Donovan have a hell of a challenge with their center and his physicality and his rebounding. He's one of the best rebounders in the country, and it's like, he's the type of guy that you face and then some in the Big East.
Thank you, Coach.
You got it.
John Fanta.
Dan, good evening. I was curious, when you're referring to what happened in January and now going 13-2 in your last 15 games, I remember you telling me in January that, the adrenaline rush of the highs,
yeah,
but even the pain of the lows is something that makes you want to get out of bed and just punch right back.
yeah.
What have you learned about yourself on this ride?
Yeah, listen, everyone, we all love this. I mean, we're all, we're addicted to the roller coaster ride. It is. It's it's straight adrenaline. And both ways. And it does. I don't mind adversity. I've dealt with it a lot. My career as a player and as a coach, I've had my share of failures. But I'm from Jersey City. I've come from a very tough family. I'm a very tough-minded person. I could handle setbacks and focus on just getting better and getting ready to go again and compete again. And, yeah.
Mark Ziegler.
Coach Mark Ziegler from San Diego Union Tribune. I want to ask you about Joey. Obviously, just tell me about how you found him and what he's meant to your team and what kind of player he's. I mean, obviously, he didn't come from a really big program and didn't have eye-popping numbers. And what did you guys see in him and what has he meant to you?
Joey's been awesome, man. Joey has been awesome. And he was really, we had room to bring in, one more player that could potentially break, get in the rotation, but it wasn't a sure thing. So, Joey had a couple, I know he had a couple schools, I think, that maybe had made him a promise that he could, maybe have a more defined, because I was truthful with him. I told him on the visit, if you're good enough to play here, I'll play you. If you don't earn court time, I'm not playing you. And he believed in himself and he had the stomach to come here and he believed that he could get himself on the court and he earned a place on the court. And his personality was big for us. He's got that San Diego, northern NorCal type of, vibe to him. And when you're a program that, that played bad in the last NCAA tournament and came in with some question marks, you need confident people. And Joey's like a really confident guy. Sometimes I'll call him Maverick or Iceman from Top Gun because he goes too far, but it's all good.
Thank you.
You got it.
James Hill.
Hey, Coach Hurley, congratulations on all of your success. Can you just talk a little bit? It's James Hill with ABC7 out of Sarasota, Florida. Can you talk a little bit about this game on Saturday, a golden opportunity for both programs, and again, what you envision and what you see in Miami?
Yeah, I think that, everyone has got the same mentality. It's like we just played these really hard, we had our conference tournament, then we played these really difficult 4-team, lose or win or your season ends tournaments, right? All of our teams are the best teams that are left standing in a very difficult tournament. And now we find ourselves all in a 4-team tournament to win a national championship, right? For something that's very hard to do in our sport. There's not a lot of coaches that have won national championships. So we're all, we're all on edge and dying to be the one left standing on Monday. So, Coach Larinaga knows that. I know that. I think we both know that we're facing, a top team, one of the best teams in the country. They're playing one of the best teams, and we're playing one of the best teams.
Tom Shad.
Hey, Coach. Congrats, as everybody else has said.
Thank you.
You mentioned your family earlier. I'm sure you're constantly talking with your brother and your dad. But I'm curious what those conversations are like over the course of the season. Are they mostly basketball? Are they mostly not? And has that changed at all ahead of a game of this magnitude?
Yeah, my dad, it's always, pretty much straight. If he's up at practice, we'll just talk about different things that he's seen or that he sees. And then obviously there's I get the report card after the game where we'll talk about just what he sees, players, tactics, different things. Bob, my relationship with Bob is just it's so unique because we're never both playing well, or it's rare that we're both like up together or down together. So the dynamic it's weird. It's rare that we both have it going really great at the same time. So, one of us is always having to pick the other guy up, when it's not going great. And, obviously a lot of our conversations don't involve basketball. They involve, the lives of people in their 50s with, grown kids and long marriages and stuff. Sorry, Andrea, long, great marriages.
Adam Zagoria.
Hey, Dan, can you hear me?
Yeah, Zags, what's up?
How you doing, buddy?
Good, buddy.
Congrats on your run here. Jay Wright, what have you consulted Jay on how to manage the week and when to give him a day off and rest, and what's the best advice he's given you? And real quick second question, do you remember Jim Larinaga ever coming in to St. Benedict's to recruit?
Oh, yeah. What was the first thing again? Zach?
Jay Wright.
Jay
what
Wright,
kind of
yeah.
advice?
Yeah. So for me, I immediately, Coach Calhoun's been, awesome to me, both him and Gino since I've gotten here. So, especially the last month, I've really started to, to get a lot of counsel from Coach Calhoun and from Gino, and then talking to them about end of season and obviously the NCAA and practice length and intensity and mentality and different things. Obviously, those guys are tremendous resources. Coach Calhoun has kind of seen the team off to the airport the last 2 times we've left for weekend tournaments. So you better believe that Coach, Coach will be addressing the boys tomorrow. And then, Jay and Coach K, that I was able to, talk to them and I'll just about what to expect when you get there. How to keep the team focused, mistakes, that they made, things that they did that were smart.
Anything specific Jay said about when to rest them or anything like that?
Yeah, I think we just talked about like keeping them fresh and, not too many live reps in practice. I mean, some were basketball things, some were, more bigger picture, like, try to avoid, fly out here, try to fly out this day, like logistical things and even the court and how the setup of, your bench and where do you want it. And you're going to be coaching on a platform. They're going to try to give you a stool, even though you never sit down, you may fall over it. Like, yeah.
All right, and Jim Larinaga, do you ever remember him at St.
No,
Benedict's?
but I remember him my whole life because he's just, he's a New York guy and he's always been in and around like recruiting New York, New Jersey. And then I got a chance to meet Coach when I was with, Rhode Island, we were at Adidas school. And, I think he took I took a liking to me on those Nike trips. I think we hit it off and developed a relationship where, anytime we'd see each other, we would talk. And, he's been real good at times about sending me a text at different times, which has been nice.
Thanks, my friend. Good luck.
Thanks, man.
I don't see any more hands up. Is that it? Anybody else got a question quickly? No? Okay. Thanks very much, everybody. Thanks.
All right, John Fonkel, let's go.